What if the internet is not really floating in the cloud? What if the thing carrying your messages, bank transfers, video calls, YouTube videos, Netflix streams, AI prompts, stock trades, military communications, and almost every piece of global data is not in the sky at all? What if it is lying silently at the bottom of the ocean, thousands of meters underwater, wrapped in steel, plastic, copper, and glass, stretched across continents like invisible highways? This is the real internet, not the apps, not the websites, not the Wi-Fi router in your house. The real internet is a global nervous system of undersea fiber-optic cables, and almost every time data moves between continents, it travels through these cables, not satellites. That means when someone in London sends a message to someone in New York, that data does not fly through space like science fiction. It drops into a cable landing station, turns into pulses of light, races through hair-thin glass fibers under the Atlantic Ocean, then rises back onto land thousands of kilometers away. It happens so fast that we forget it is physical. But the internet is physical. And that raises a much bigger question. Who actually owns it? For decades, the answer was simple. Telecom companies. The old internet was built by carriers, national operators, and international cable consortia. Companies from different countries would come together, split the cost, share the capacity, and build one cable system that everyone could use. It made sense. No single company wanted to pay for an entire ocean crossing alone. A submarine cable can cost hundreds of millions of dollars. It requires surveys, permits, landing rights, cable ships, repeaters, maintenance contracts, and years of planning before a single customer ever sends data through it. So the old model was shared ownership. Telecom companies built the roads. Internet companies rented space on those roads. But then the internet changed. Google stopped being just a search engine. Meta stopped being just a social network. Amazon stopped being just an online store. Microsoft stopped being just a software company. They became global infrastructure empires. Cloud computing exploded. Video became the dominant language of the internet. AI started demanding insane amounts of data. Billions of people began uploading photos, streaming movies, backing up files, using maps, messaging, gaming, and training machine learning models every second of every day. Suddenly, renting capacity was no longer enough. If you are Google, Meta, Amazon, or Microsoft, you are not just using the internet. You are the traffic. Your platforms move so much data around the planet that relying completely on telecom companies becomes expensive, risky, and limiting. So big tech did something that changed the internet forever. They started building and owning the cables themselves. Not all of them, not every route, not every system, but enough to shift the balance of power. Google has invested in major subsea cable systems connecting the United States, Europe, South America, Africa, and Asia. Meta has become one of the biggest players in global subsea infrastructure, especially with massive projects like 2Africa. Amazon has moved deeper into private cable ownership with projects designed to connect its cloud regions. Microsoft also invests in cable capacity and infrastructure to support Azure, cloud services, and global data movement. The reason is simple: control. Owning cable capacity gives these companies more control over speed, cost, reliability, security, and route diversity. If one cable breaks, traffic can move through another. If one region becomes unstable, data can be rerouted. If demand grows, they do not have to wait for someone else to upgrade the network. They can build their own path, and that is exactly what is happening. The internet's deepest infrastructure is slowly moving from a telecom-controlled world to a hyperscaler-controlled world. But here is the important part. Undersea cables are not usually owned by one mysterious company that controls the whole internet. Ownership is messy. Some cables are owned by telecom consortia. Some are owned by private companies. Some are funded by a mix of tech giants, carriers, and regional operators. Some cables are open access, meaning different companies can buy capacity. Others are built mainly for the private use of the company that funded them. So the answer to who owns the internet's undersea cables is not one name. It is a power map. Telecom companies still matter. Companies like Orange, Vodafone, Telecom Egypt, China Mobile International, and many regional carriers still play major roles. They operate landing stations, sell connectivity, manage routes, and participate in huge cable projects. But big tech is now the force reshaping the system. And this matters because cables are not just technical infrastructure, they are geopolitical infrastructure. Where a cable lands can shape which country becomes a digital hub. Who owns the cable can influence who controls capacity. Who repairs the cable can create security concerns. Who routes the traffic can affect latency, pricing, resilience, and even national security. This is why governments care so much. An undersea cable is not just a pipe for TikTok videos and email. It can carry financial markets, defense communications, diplomatic traffic, cloud computing workloads, AI training data, business operations, emergency services, and the private data of billions of people. That makes the ocean floor one of the most important strategic spaces on Earth. The strange part is that most people never think about it. We talk about satellites, we talk about 5G, we talk about data centers, we talk about artificial intelligence. But all of those systems depend on the same hidden layer, cables under the sea. Without them, the global internet slows, fragments, and becomes far more expensive. Satellites can help, especially in remote areas, but they cannot replace the enormous capacity of fiber-optic submarine cables. A satellite connection is impressive. A modern undersea cable is an information superhighway. That is why cable routes are expanding constantly. New cables are being built across the Atlantic, across the Pacific, around Africa, through the Mediterranean, into the Middle East, and toward fast-growing data markets in India and Southeast Asia. But this expansion is not random. It follows power, it follows cloud regions, it follows data centers, it follows AI demand, it follows where the next billion users are expected to come online, and it follows geopolitical risk. The Red Sea, for example, is one of the most important internet corridors in the world because it connects Europe, Asia, and Africa. But it is also one of the most vulnerable. Conflict, sabotage fears, shipping disruption, and cable cuts can force internet traffic to reroute thousands of kilometers around Africa. That means the internet is not just digital, it is exposed to the real world. Wars matter, shipping lanes matter, landing stations matter, repair ships matter, insurance costs matter. A single damaged cable can increase latency across entire regions. Several damaged cables can create serious disruption. And because so much global data depends on so few choke points, the ownership and protection of these systems is becoming a national security issue. So who owns the internet beneath the ocean? The old owners are telecom companies. The new owners are big tech. The hidden power is the consortium. And the final authority is increasingly shaped by governments that decide which cables can land, which companies can operate, and which foreign equipment is considered too risky. The internet is not owned by one company, but the direction is clear. The companies that control the most data are moving to control the infrastructure that carries it. That is the real story. Google, Meta, Amazon, and Microsoft are not just building apps on top of the internet anymore. They are building the internet underneath it. And the next time you send a message, stream a video, upload a file, or ask an AI model a question, remember what is actually happening. Your data may cross a continent, then dive into the ocean, travel through glass thinner than a human hair, pass through a cable owned by a consortium, a telecom giant, or one of the most powerful technology companies on Earth, then rise again on another shore, all in less than a second. The internet feels weightless, but it is not. It has routes, it has owners, it has choke points, it has politics, it has billion-dollar cables lying in darkness at the bottom of the sea. And whoever controls those cables does not just control infrastructure, they control the hidden roads of the modern world.